Listen, removing collection doesn't have to be as hard as you make it out to be. So hopefully by the end of this video, you have a little bit more confidence and understand perfect flow and order of operation in terms of removing collection. So let's just dive in. Now, I will start off with this disclaimer, and I got to let you know the results may vary. Now, that doesn't mean that this flow doesn't work, but a lot of times people give up too quickly. A lot of times people expect something to happen tomorrow when they just got started today, even though that they've been damaging their credit for the past several years and many people the past decade. So results may vary, and you got to understand that it's important for you to continue to apply pressure. Once you get the momentum going, don't stop, never let up. So results may vary, and by law, we can't give any guarantees. Now, in this video, I hope that these letters or the flow of the letters give you the confidence that you need. And if you stick around to the end, I got a freebie for you that will include one of the letters. And then, of course, if you want to take it to the next level, we can help you with that as well. Now, did you know? I want to ask you a question. Did you know that over 30% of people have errors on their consumer report? Did you know that? Did you know that? That's millions of Americans who have errors on their consumer report. Why is that important? Because if you know that millions of Americans have errors on their report, then it's a good chance that it's a lot of people whose credit is less than ideal by no fault of their own. Now, of course, many people have made mistakes, but if it's errors on your report and they have a responsibility to report accurate information, then that means that it's something on your report that's keeping your score less than it has to be because of an error that can be corrected and can help you take your score to the next level. Now, on top of that, I also want to let you know, and this can give you a little bit of confidence, for those who recognize the errors and follow the process that I'm about to show, about 79% of those people have success with getting those errors removed. They have success with wiping those errors out. Now, that's very important. And this is what you really have to understand. If you just apply pressure and take the next step and don't let up, then you have an almost 80% chance to getting your credit cleaned up. 80%. That's very important. Now, what's in it for you? You, by the end of this video, will have a letter flow, order of operation of knowing how to go about sending your letters, and whether you choose to get letters from us or if you choose to just find some online, hey, at least you'll have a flow. And you'll have some of the sauce that goes along with really taking your credit and, your profile to the next level. Now, you cleaning up your collections taps into the area of credit. If you understand how the FICO scoring models are broken down, the freebie that I'll give you later will break that down for you. But you tapping into cleaning up collections helps in the area of payment history, which is responsible for 35% of your score. Write that down. Payment history is responsible for 35% of your score. Well, if you understand how the FICO scoring model works, then you understand that you only get up to 550 points total. 550 points total. 35% of 550 equates to how many points you can boost your score by cleaning up collections. Very important. How many points is that? This allows you to boost your score by up to 192.5 points. Just off of this alone. So we've had clients that we've assisted or we've taught how to do it themselves, and they were able to take this information and boost their score over 100 plus points. Some up to 192.5 points. If you have multiple collections, then of course you have to do multiple deletions in order to get up to that 192.5 points to get you closer to having flawless payment history. And of course, you got to be making on-time payments with your open accounts, but at least cleaning up the negativity can help you tremendously. Now, the flow that I'm about to go through, yes, it helps with collections, but not only collections. It also has helped clients with charge-offs. It also has helped with repos, lates, etc. So understanding this flow, it helps with majority of what people are battling with when it comes to cleaning up their reports. Now, here's the flow. And this is probably what you came for, because a lot of people know that there are letters that exist, but they just may not know the proper flow in terms of going about cleaning up your report. Now, this has worked for tons of people across the country, tons of people who have done it themselves. This has worked for tons of clients that we've helped. And of course, there's always levels to it. Now, I do recommend going through a flow that includes you sending out letters opposed to doing online disputes. Why? Because when it comes to the online disputes, you got to understand that the consumer laws were written before people was using online and email and digital ways of doing things, which means that sending things via mail reigns supreme. Plus, you always want to have what I like to call a paper trail. It's all about what you can prove or what they can prove, because the burden of proof is on them. But a paper trail helps you go a long way. And it's usually not a paper trail when it comes to disputing online, which is why disputing via mail is very key, very important. So when it comes to the flow, first letter you need to get familiar with, and one of these will be included in the freebie once I get down to this, so stick around. Stick around to the end. First letter that you typically want to send in most cases is the verification letter. I know I'm spelling something wrong. It's late. You gotta forgive me. But the verification letter. The verification letter basically puts the burden of proof on them. You're saying, hey, I see this unverified item on my report. I need you to verify that you have the right to report this on my consumer report. I need you to verify that this item is accurate. Verify that it belongs to me. Verification letter. You're not lying. You're not denying anything. You just say, hey, I see this unverified item on here. I noticed some things. I need you to verify that this belongs to me. A lot of times this letter right here gets the job done. But don't bank on it. Always keep a follow-up to the initiation. Write that down, because we're building a paper trail. Everything that we're doing has another step to it. That way, if that doesn't work, we got something to follow up. We're setting them up, getting them exactly where we want them. It's chess, not checkers. But the verification letter is powerful. After that verification letter has been sent off, you want to give them 30 to 35 days before you send your next letter. So 30 to 35 days. This gives them a proper amount of time to go through an investigation before you send off letter number 2, which is the MOV letter. Type in the comments what that means. Method of verification. Method of verification letter. Because most of the time you may send a verification letter out and you may get something in the mail that says, hey, this item was verified. Okay. Don't fret. A lot of people quit right there. They said it was verified, so I just gave up. Why? Were you not taught about the second letter that goes along with that? Well, now you know. The method of verification letter, what it basically says is, hey, I know you said this item was verified, but what method did you use to verify it? And the right method of verification letter puts them to the test, holds them accountable, asks them to prove certain things that they did in order to determine whether or not that item has any business being on your consumer report. So the method of verification letter is powerful. Now, this is where some of the magic happens when you understand how the method of verification letter works. Now, I told you that you had 30 to 35 days in order to reply from the initial letter, which is the verification letter. But with that method of verification letter, they're supposed to contact you or do something or make a move within 15 days. Now, after those 15 days, what you want to do is play the collection entity as well as the consumer reporting agencies against one another because they're supposed to be contacting the collection agencies to verify that this belongs to you. And if you send out the method of verification letter, then they're really supposed to be doubling down and talking to see if that item belongs to you. So what you do is you send a separate letter known as the validation letter. And you're sending this to the collection company. You're sending this to the collection company. Very important because now you're saying, hey, I've already started the investigation. I need you to validate that this debt belongs to me. You should already have this information together because if they've already gone through investigation like they're supposed to, it should be readily available to you. To the point where if you got it, you should be able to send it to me and prove that you had the ability to even be submitting this and putting this on my consumer report through the consumer reporting agencies. Very important. So now you got a lot of things happening. Also building that deep paper trail. Now, which is 30 days after you've initially sent that letter, and which is about 15 days after you sent the validation letter to the collection company, that's when you can come. This is actually the fourth letter in rotation, but the third letter that actually goes to consumer reporting agencies. That's when you can come with the ITL. Now, this is after you determine, hey, my rights have been violated. They didn't properly verify. They didn't properly show me the method of verification. The validation letter that I sent out to the collection company, they haven't validated. And this levels to the validation letter, but I'm going to keep it surface level. Now you have the ability to sue in many cases. So an intent to litigate says, hey, my rights have been violated. I've done X, Y, Z. I need you to remove it. Otherwise, I know my rights and I know I have the ability to sue. And then beyond the intent to litigate, if it gets to this point, is a pending litigation. Just let them know, hey, putting y'all on notice. I'm trying to let you go ahead and handle it before I handle it. And that's a pending litigation. A lot of times it doesn't get to this point, and you don't want to do it if you know that you might have been responsible for certain things. But if you've pointed out clear accuracy or clear inaccuracies, clear violations, and they didn't follow a certain procedure in order to determine whether or not that was yours, and they didn't do the proper validation when you send it directly to the debt collectors, in many cases you had the ability to sue. And that's where the intent to litigate comes in, as well as the pending litigation. So understanding this flow, 1, 2, going to the validation letter to the collection companies, as well as the intent to litigate, a lot of times this gets the collections removed. And if you're doing your credit restoration process the right way, then you're not limited to just this. In the meantime, when you're doing this, you're also doing some other things. That's for a whole nother video. Now, here's the sauce. As if this wasn't enough sauce. Here's the sauce. Incorporating code violations in the midst of this. Like as you're sending a verification letter saying, hey, this item isn't verified, but you're also making notes of, hey, this collection violates these codes. That's critical. Understanding code violations when it comes to the consumer law, code violations. Start getting familiar with the consumer law is going to be key. One of the consumer law codes that is really critical when it comes to getting several things removed, but specifically collections, 15 USC 1681 S2. Look it up for yourself because I want you to get in the habit of fact checking for yourself, looking into it, doing your own homework. Yeah, you can listen to people spit it out and put out all these codes. This is saying this, and they teach you how to interpret it. But if you read it for yourself, you find yourself finding ways of how it makes sense to you, and you're able to interpret it a little bit better and use it to your advantage. But look into these codes because a lot of your ability to remove certain things, whether it's charge off, collection, repo, child support, lies in the hands of these code violations. Very important. Now, I told you I had something for you in the form of a freebie. And this can give you access to the letter along with some extra education. And if you want to take it to the next level and get some help, then we can do that for you as well. And this is where you can get that freebie. Now you do with that information what you wish. But this information is already helping people all across the nation. It's already helping clients of ours. It's already helping people understand how to fix their own credit. The only thing stopping you from having the credit score and the profile that you desire to have is you. Take heed, take action. Salute.